recounted it yourself, and then when you realized the
I
mistake you made, then lied about
it. I recounted it incorrectly, and I told
yeah.
because what I said originally was that it was the most important thing.
Believe me, I started this conversation, and if I heard you
so
say
believe
something
it.
about,
Are you still holding
if
to
I
that?
heard you
You're
say
lost,
something
sugar.
about,
JJ, are you still holding to that?
if I heard
Yes,
you
the
say
most important thing in business is profit. Correct.
All right, great.
You
So
said,
hold on, sugar. Hold on, sugar. So what we'll do is we'll look at all the different aspects of a business, and we'll see if it's the case that profit is the strongest.
No, we can just appeal to authorities, right? Like if we went to a business professor and we asked him,
I don't know why you're over talking me.
This is stupid. That's why. If we went,
Okay,
this is what you would do, right? You would go to the authority. We'll see what do they say,
you're a piece
right?
of shit, yo.
Do you think that if we ask a business professor what's the most important thing in a business, you think he's not going to say profit?
Yeah, that would be a dumbass business professor. I guess you know better though. Tell us, does leadership matter?
This is insane. That's insane. You're insane, dude.
Does your product line matter? No. Does your consumer base and the health of your consumer base matter? No. Does your marketing matter? No.
Yeah,
none of those things matter.
Those things all matter because of how it affects your business.
Does your logistical issues matter? No. Does the fucking overall economy matter?
All those things matter.
Does your strategy matter?
This is so stupid.
Yes, all those things matter.
None of those matter as much as fucking profit.
Nobody said that. All those things matter, but profit
because they are all
is the most important.
You're out of your fucking mind, and
profit is the most important.
I'm not going to be able to make my point without somebody jumping in.
Businesses,
no problem.
The reason that businesses continue to exist is because they're profitable. It's a good approximation of how the market works.
You're out of your mind. There's plenty of businesses who have not turned a profit, and
those are exceptions.
Excuse me, 1 second.
Those are a minority.
Excuse me, ding dong. Excuse me. So there's tons of businesses that
you're way off the rails, Concrete.
It's like protesting about gravity because some things are magnetically levitated. No, the rule holds. It just doesn't.
All right, here
I'm actually still really shocked that anybody pushed back on profit being the most important thing in business.
Shocking.
Are you done?
Flabbergasting.
Are you done? All right, great. So here, I'm going to show you how. I'm going to show you how profit. I'm going to show you how profit is not the most important thing, right?
Okay.
Because I could easily conceive of a project.
No, I want to hear him do it.
Or a product. What the fuck is? Why? Why is it so hard? I could easily conceive of a product with a 50%. Shut up, ding dong.
Stop
with a 50%. With a 50% profit margin, right? And then we'll show that yes, there is a 50% profit margin, but my consumer base is limited. The growth of my consumer base is even further limited, which is to say, there's not going to be a lot of people interested in my product, and there's going to be a lower and lower amount of people interested in my product, right? At a 50% margin. And even if I were to lower my margins, it doesn't hope to increase my consumer base just because of the nature of my product, which is to say, I could take it all the way down to a 1% profit margin, and I'd have the same customer base issues. Number one. Number two, I could also say that I have a product where that is based on, excuse me, I could also have the same 50% profit margin with a growing consumer base, but a diminishing raw material base, right? Which is to say that the 50% markup that I've been able to gather for this particular product is based on a generally limited natural resource. Can't find any more of this fucking natural resource to fucking provide for this growing consumer base.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So?
And then I got another fucking problem, which is to say, I don't have my product has a 50% margin, but there's no secret to it. Once my competitors find out about the particular formula that I've used through corporate espionage, they're going to be able to reproduce my product, and then boom. So that would mean that my profit margin is not the most important thing, but the secrecy or the complexity
Stupid.
The
protect your
secrecy
profits,
or the
right?
complexity of my process.
Your profits. Profits the word you're
So
looking
concrete.
Process.
Concrete.
The secrecy,
Profits.
complexity of my process
Shut up.
is exposing me to duplication of competition. So while I did have a 50% profit margin, I have a relatively simple idea, i.e., fucking DoorDash, i.e., fucking Uber, right? So no, it's not gonna just be profit margin that's the most important thing.
Let me ask you. Okay, we heard you.
Easily
We heard you. That's
subject
enough.
to all sorts of external forces.
My God.
Yeah, right. And what do you think?
Okay. Just let me just ask the quick question. So, if you are a victim of corporate espionage, right, as you were talking about, and your profit margins went up, and you made more money because you're a victim of corporate espionage, would people care?
Yeah, how does that happen? Sorry. How does it happen that
It's
you're
a hypothetical?
Initiate laser dodging.
Let's just say lawsuit.
All right, so the idea is no, nobody would care if I was a victim of. I mean, immediately no, nobody would care if I was a victim of corporate espionage and my profits went up. I
Oh,
don't think anybody would immediately care.
so then that nullifies your objection.
Oh, okay, great, no problem.
Concrete. The reason
like the
all of
issue
these
is
things
that
mattered is because they impacted your profitability. That's the whole point. You didn't give us any examples of a thing that doesn't impact the profitability of the business. That's what you need to give us.
Yeah, everything that a business does impacts its profitability. That's why.
No.
That's why focusing solely on profit would be
That's
the
not even
dumbest
true.
thing you've. That's why focusing on profit would be the dumbest thing you've ever done.
Well, look,
That would be the
people,
dumbest thing for a business to do.
people are saying
Yes,
that the
focusing on profit is
People-
the dumbest thing you can do.
people are saying
Non-profit
people
do
aren't
plenty
saying
of
that
things that don't
One
promote
person at
their
a time, please.
profitability.
yeah.
Look up the definition of what a business is. Thank you.
No, but I do think that, I mean, it is true that sort of caring about or like focusing on short-term profit maximization can be a tactical mistake, right, in the short term or especially in the
for your
long term,
profits
right?
in the future, right?
But yeah, the
Okay.
point is that the exactly the point is that ultimately, like your role in a business, right, if you're to maintain your role in the business, is to, through whatever strategy is more suitable to your situation, increase profitability either in the short term or long term. It's probably the case that your concentration on that profit maximization could actually, in the long term, hurt the profitability, but it doesn't mean that, the aim isn't profitability, right?
Yeah, so Young, what you've done is you've demonstrated a problem between public companies and private companies, right?
This
What?
So what happens with public sector companies, i.e., not public sector, publicly traded companies besides private companies, right? So what happens with publicly traded companies is that they're constantly looking at the ticker symbol, right? They're constantly focused on those quarterly, yearly, semi-annually profits. And that's what the driving force for the CEO and management is going to be, is to make sure every quarter Wall Street is happy. Now,
By
private
what?
companies don't have that problem because all of their books are just to themselves.
And what makes the shareholders
Excuse me
happy?
1 second, bro.
What makes the shareholders happy?
What they can do is they can focus on other things that aren't necessarily profit driving, so that they can sustain their future based on whatever they're forecasting, right? Because if you're forecasting an influx of competitors, right, and you can't simultaneously say we're going to become the highest profit margin within this fucking sector, because you know there's going to be an influx of competitors, and that's going to drive down your profits, drive down your prices. So if you were to deal with an influx of competitors, you'd want to have a fucking competitive advantage in another area through research and development, through marketing, through branding, marketing, through some other strategy other than competition on price. So there you
No,
go.
yeah, that's sure for sure. Like, also, it's part of what you're saying that there's a difference in how central profit maximization at every quarter is between, different kinds of companies. Let's say you made the example of like public companies, companies that are that you can trade, or like, that you can buy stocks and stuff like that, and smaller businesses is, you
Private.
you yeah, private smaller businesses, right?
Size doesn't matter.
Okay.
You can have a huge behemoth that's still private.
But yeah, okay, sure. But so sure, but the point is, right, that I agree that in a company you can act in a way, or like make economic decisions that are in fact not like the most conducive to the maximization of profits, right? I mean, I think there's like many examples of companies that do that, and it's obviously possible, right? But the
So
point is that
maximizing profits is irrelevant.
No, it's not irrelevant.
To what
I'm
we
saying
were discussing, yes.
It's irrelevant to whether or not the main goal of a company is to make profit.
like
Or
the
the
point
most
is like,
Right.
the point what I was about to say is that as soon like the point is that um it's obvious that it's central if you understand that profit maximization is the only way that you can long term maintain such a economic entity, I guess. Like you
Well, we're
can.
not even
No.
we're not even there. I think you're
Not
too far
really.
ahead.
Okay.
I would just say,
But young, what
so it
side are you?
sounds. So it,
Go
yeah.
ahead. Sorry.
Yo,
All right. So it
Gunsel, go ahead.
yeah. So it just sounds like the reason, like the non-profit reasons that people are giving, are just like the sustainability of the company, which is, in other words, long-term securing of future profits, or like
Not
securing
necessarily.
higher profits, or you know what I mean.
Not necessarily. Look.
Yeah, I think that it could be for other reasons, but all the instances in which it's another reason, it's just an economically unwise decision for the business.
What does that mean, young? I don't understand. What side are you on in this argument? I'm sure
He thinks you're
on
saying
their
dumb
side,
In
stuff.
the middle.
but I don't understand
think-
what you're saying. I think you're on their side, but I
I'm
don't understand what you're saying.
I'm saying what I just said, I guess, is that I think that it's possible for someone to act in the short term in ways that that don't maximize profits, and it doesn't have to be necessarily because they have in mind that that's like a profit maximizing tactic in the long run, right? Like you could make decisions with your business that are not gonna like immediately yield you a profit, so that one instance is that you make economic decisions that don't yield you a profit immediately, but they put you in a position, for instance, with regard to competition, so that you can make more of a profit long term. That's one situation, and I think that happens, I guess. And there's another situation, which is you make those decisions that don't yield you a profit in the short term, but not even because you want to make profit in the long term, right? Those things happen, those instances happen, but they're just not economically wise, or how can I say it? Sustainable, I guess.
I don't understand. Can you just like make it short? I don't understand, bro. You're saying you shouldn't not focus on profit?
Basically, if you want to maintain your business, yeah.
All right, great. So that's just
In the long
not,
run.
yeah, that just doesn't matter. You can focus on your customer base. You can focus on your product line. You can focus on your pricing. You can focus on so many other things that will further your sustainability.
You mean through
right?
profit?
But what does it?
Through
The point.
through diversity of your product line, through diversity.
Yeah, if you
of your
focus
customer base,
on
through diversity, through improvement of your product line,
No,
through
but
improvement of
what
your
they're
management,
saying.
through improvement of your marketing, through
Well,
fucking.
Why would you focus on those
There's
things?
so
Concrete.
many other
Well,
things to focus
exactly. That's what they're saying. It's like
Concrete. Why would you focus on
So-
those things?
on. Yes, if you want to continue to be in business, and you only focus on
How do those
profit,
things?
you might.
Well, no, how do those
you
focusing
might
on those other
expose-
things
You
keep you
might
in business?
expose yourself to other problems that derail your business,
Why would you focus on any of those things?
so that you continue to survive
How do you survive?
yeah.
through operations. Through
He
operations.
can't even say it. He's so dishonest.
I know.
Yeah, so you can.
So
can-
dishonest,
oh my
man.
God.
yourself a non-profit.
So all you're saying is that you're so stupid. You don't even understand. You can have a zero profit business and still have operations. And I mean zero.
Yeah.
But the money's gotta come from somewhere.
Fucking row. I don't know why you think you're so smart that you're gonna fucking.
I don't think
know
I'm so smart. I
that
think you're saying dumb stuff.
I don't know why you think you're so smart that you're gonna know that there's businesses that can only survive through profit. When you can survive with zero profit.
The
You
money's
can't
but that's not the
survive.
point of the
You
business.
can't.
What do you mean that's not the
like,
point of the business?
The point of the
the-
business is to extract profits from workers through sales of product.
But-
And
Says you.
And when you don't
No,
do
but-
that, just keeping your doors open isn't a reason to continue running the business. I mean, like
That's
the people,
ridiculous.
the shareholders, like the people who invest in the business, the owners of the business, all of them want to be able to get salaries. All of them want the business to be profitable enough, pay them for the work that they do, and have a little bit extra to expand itself or to insulate itself in times of like, a downturn or something. But like,
Yeah, I'm not saying that there is not a desire, because salaries aren't covered by profits, right? That'll be covered in your overhead costs. So to think that they're not going to get a salary because there's not a profit is just a misunderstanding of the process. Now,
Yeah, but-
no one is saying that they don't want a profit, but what we're saying is you can have a business survive for ever until in perpetuity, with zero profit.
right,
And
but
you're going to
that's
say if you don't have a profit, you're not going to run a business, and your business
Right.
doesn't serve a purpose, you're out of
well,
your
no,
fucking mind.
not the second thing, but
So that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because all you're saying is that if I started a business and I wasn't able to make profit, but I did have the freedom to do what it is that I wanted to do, that I would stop doing that. I would give up my freedom so that I could go somewhere else and make a profit.
One question.
Is that what you're
Right.
saying?
One
Pretty
question.
much, yeah.
Dumb.
Concrete.
Sorry.
if you
One-
have $10,000 for a business, you're not just gonna go ahead and put the $10,000 at risk just to have like some open doors and some salaries that you can just have on like a risky cycle. You're gonna do it for some reward. Like you don't just put your money in for no reason. You put it for a payoff. You put it for an
I
investment.
didn't say nobody wanted profit, so that you're arguing.
Right,
Concrete.
but the point, right? That's avoiding like the point of why people open businesses and run business,
No,
and
you
that's
don't understand.
what
You're
the
arguing
conversation is
something else.
about.
Sorry.
So concrete,
Yeah,
you
you're arguing
objected to
something
me
else.
saying that profit was the most important aspect, most important part of business. Fine, you don't agree with that. What is the most important part of business, concrete?
Yeah, so business is a very complicated endeavor, and it's
Yep.
multivariable.
And mysterious. Don't forget
It's
mysterious.
multivariable, and it's dependent on your business and your circumstances. So it's like asking an individual human being, what is the most important thing in
What do you think a
to
professor at a business
It's
school
like
would say?
asking an individual human being what's the most important thing for them.
What do you think a
That
professor at a
matters
business school
with
would say?
regards to their health. That matters with regards to their family situation.
What do you think a
That
professor
matters
at a
with
business
regards
school
to
would say?
their existing financial situation.
What
Tons
do
of
you
things
think a
matter.
professor at a business school would say?
Yeah, you don't know anything, so please shut up.
But
Well,
What-
concrete, what I hear you
what-
saying is that there are many answers, right? It depends
What
on
do you
Exactly,
think?
exactly.
What do you think?
So why
What
did
do
you
you
have
think
an
a
object? Why
professor
did
at
he
a business
object?
school?
One second, Tom. Why did you object to me saying
No, this is
that
dumb.
for
He just needs to
me,
answer the
that
question.
profit is the most important thing?
Excuse me? Sorry. So what'd you say, Jason?
You're saying that there are many answers, that there are a bunch of right answers depending on who you ask. But why did you object to me saying that profit is the most important thing?
Because you made it seem that that's the case in every business. And I would never say for every business, profit is
Well, I never said that.
Well, that's what you made it seem like.
Right, but if somebody
every
else,
business,
if
there's
somebody
nothing
else
else
thinks
for
that,
every business. Hold on, bro. I'm almost done. For
well,
every
what
business.
if I said that
All right, go
employee
ahead.
base?
All
What if I
right.
said that
If
employee
you
base?
wanna clarify your position, that's fine.
Yeah, what if I
Go
said
ahead.
that employees are the most important aspect of business? Would you push back on that?
If you were making a blanket statement, a generalization for all businesses, of course.
What's with anybody? You're saying that depending on who you ask, they're all going to say different things depending on their situation.
Depending on the business situation, yes, you should have different focuses. Yes.
Right, they're going to have different opinions. So one person could say that employees
Not
are the most
opinions,
important.
ding dong.
Are you going to argue
Not
with them about it?
Not opinions, different focuses. And a focus is not an opinion. Different focuses, not opinions.
So, Concrete, you appealed to Wikipedia the other day to defend Kathleen to give her a bunch of liberal sources. So I hope you don't oppose me appealing to Wikipedia here. So this is the first line in the Wikipedia entry on business says, a business is the activity of making one's living or making money by producing or buying and selling products, such as goods and services. Simply put, it is, quote, any activity or enterprise entered into for profit.
Okay.
All right,
okay, chum.
So profit being a necessary part of the definition of a business leads me to think that it might be the most important aspect of what makes a business.
Well, all you're doing is giving me your reasoning for why you believe what you believe, and I think you're wrong.
That's all you're doing.
But Concrete, you were saying prior, right, that you can have a business that doesn't yield a profit, right?
Yes.
So presumably by that you mean that like a business can maintain itself or it can exist if it like merely breaks even, with time, right?
It can exist while breaking even.
Right. But not if it like loses money, right, actively. We agree on that.
It can still exist and lose money.
Well, 501s.
I'm what I'm saying.
Not business.
Okay. The point is, can it maintain itself while losing money constantly?
It can constantly lose money and maintain itself.
Yeah, that speaks to what Sugar was saying, chum.
All right.
Yeah, if you just have a rich angel investor and you can cover all your operations, no problem, and it just gives you money to keep going.
Like Elon Musk or Bill Gates, you could have a business called the Money Pit where they sell lemonade while a pile of burning money is just burning 24/7.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. The point is that like,
yeah, but Concrete is
like
talking about stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
That's a lot.
If you keep
Tom's just a salty
regardless
piece
of the
shit.
fact that
why are you so toxic,
that if
Tom?
if you keep the input constant and you just lose money or like lose on what you yield monthly or whatever time frame you may choose, I think it's pretty uncontroversial to say that that's going to be a failing business, right?
Of course.
Right, but I also think that that counts for a business that breaks even for like competitive issues. Obviously.
Concrete, what's the most? What would a business professor say is the most important part of a business?
$1,000.
Tom, why are you so toxic, bro? What's wrong with you?
Concrete, what would a business professor say?
What's wrong with you?
What would a business professor say?
Business professors are going to have different opinions about what's the most important thing, Tom?
I think there's going to be a consensus for sure.
Yeah,
and
you
I think
all business professors. You think all business professors?
This is what I said. Here he does the thing. He goes, "You think all got him?"
Whatever the majority, fucking A.
Majority.
You think the majority of business professors are going to say
yes
for the majority of businesses focusing on profit is the main focus? All right, great. Now all you need to do is produce that survey.
Hold on a sec. Do you deny that?
All you need to do is produce the. No, I don't think that. Yes, I deny that. Go ahead.
You're an idiot.
Produce your evidence.
Just to be clear, because
fuck your opinion. Fuck your opinion. Fuck your fifi. Produce the information.
This will be referenced in the future for many times to come. Many.
$1,000.
Look, it's not my fault that you did this to yourself in an act in trying to be contrarian, right?
Exactly.
This isn't my fault. You did this, Concrete.
Yeah, this is all rhetoric. Do you have anything besides rhetoric
This
and
isn't
social
rhetoric.
manipulation?
This
Do you have anything besides social manipulation and rhetoric? Yes or no?
Of course.
If you have a survey of business professors, I'd love to see it. I thought you actually had one, but instead you have nothing. There's nothing in your hat.
Yeah.
There's no rabbit in your hat. Just a big fucking ding dong, right? That's all you've got in your hat, Tom.
One thing,
You're not a
Concrete, you don't
magician,
actually need a
you're
survey.
a fucking con artist.
You can
You're not a
find
magician,
other
you're a con
evidence
artist.
other than a survey. You'll agree with that, right, Concrete?
I didn't hear what you said, JJ.
You can find other evidence other than a survey of business professors, right?
What does that mean?
I'm saying you said all you have to do is find a survey, but you could find other evidence that's not a survey of business professors, right?
That's going to tell you what business professors think?
Yeah.
What would that be called, JJ?
Other evidence.
Yeah, like what would it be called?
A consensus view
To find out
you could find
what
attending the professor's classes.
What is it called
That's
when
what it is.
when you
That's
have the
called a
information
I don't know.
from a bunch of different fucking professors?
We're looking at the literature.
Exactly. Yeah. Just
What do you
looking
think
at
the literature is going to be based on?
It's
The
not going to be a
literature-
survey. It's like
Yeah.
Oh,
it's-
really? So how
the
did they
literature is gonna
gather
reference-
the opinion of all of these professors?
Yeah,
Well,
look
reading
at
their
look at
material, it
yourself.
doesn't mean that
right?
it doesn't mean that they're saying like a state. Like
Oh, this is
I'm
so
saying,
stupid.
I'm saying there's a difference between looking
And I'm
at
the contrarian.
the literature. There's a difference in looking at the literature about, I don't know, like some philosophical topic, and looking how the views distribute, and
How?
having a
How do you
survey
think they
asking
gather
the
that
professors
information?
or something. What
How do you
mean?
think they gather that information if
Who?
not through a
Not by
survey?
asking them questions like a
You're
survey.
out of your fucking mind.
Are you dumb?
Real
You're out of
mad.
your mind.
You think that looking at a paper is asking the professor a question?
Real
You are
mad about
out
what
of
he's
your
done to
fucking
himself.
mind. You should shut up.
Somebody shadow play that, please.
He's real mad about this position. He's got a hard spot here
Yeah.
because a lot
Like-
of Concrete's identity is wrapped up in being like business savvy, and he's like contesting that the main goal of business is to make money. That's
Don't
retarded.
understand why.
Yeah, you said the main focus should be
No,
on
nobody said
profits.
focus. Nobody said
You
focus.
said the main focus should be
Nope,
on profit.
nobody said focus.
And you can also, if you want to say the main
Well,
focus or main
You're the
goal of
only
the
person
business
that's been talking
is
about
profit,
focus, Concrete.
you would also be wrong.
Oh, can I
Because
get?
even I want you to imagine, right? I want you to imagine a
No.
business that produces
so
goods
stupid.
for, let's say, ding dongs like fucking Tom. And ding dongs like Tom don't pay their bills,
racist.
right? They
Ding
don't
dong.
pay their bills. So if I were to fucking focus on this particular customer and my fucking profit margin, and I just shipped a bunch
Wait,
of
is
goods
dong a
to
Korean
this
name?
ding dong, right? And that person says, I'm giving you
Is that
50%
more like
down, and in
Vietnamese or
50 days, I'm gonna give you another 50%. And you're waiting. It's been 60 days. And I called fucking Tom's office. Hey, Tom, where's that other 50%, bro? And Tom is gonna say, oh yeah, well, it's on the way, man. You're all good, right? Because you got that 50% profit built into your cost, right? So you're gonna be good.
Fuck.
So now I'm
It's
still
actually
waiting
broken.
100 days later, and Tom still hasn't paid that other 50%. You know what that's called?
What? Profit.
It's called
Wasn't
accounts
listening.
receivable,
What?
right? My accounts receivable.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So in my accounts receivable, I've got all my profit built in, but I have yet to collect the money because Tom's a piece of shit and doesn't pay his bills. So yes,
Yeah.
I focused on profit and I didn't fucking focus on the quality of this fucking customer's ability to pay.
I don't know why you keep talking about focus.
Oh
Yeah,
my
next time
god.
you're at- next time
Oh
you're
my
at-
god.
Next
And
time
I'm
you're
done. This is dumb.
Oh,
I'm
your
leaving.
God, what?
Bye-bye.
You're the only one that's been talking about focus.
It's
next
like,
time
it's
you're
also
next,
like this example.
Jesus
it's like-
Christ, man! Fucking for fuck's sake,
Go ahead,
Jesus.
sorry.
Dude, Concrete, the next time you're at a urinal pitching your next business proposal to a billionaire, just lead with, I don't think making a profit is the most important thing. Now, my goal with this business isn't to make a profit. See how well you do. Concrete, I have another question for you. You said you mentioned something about a CEO making his shareholders happy. How does a CEO make his shareholders happy?
Growth.
To be fair, though, I think he was what he was
Swag
trying
bag.
to do there is that he was trying to say that that's like sort of something that's exclusive to companies that have shareholders, which is to say, like this promise of profit maximization only applies to, you know, like companies that are in the stock market.
No, he wouldn't even. He would probably deny it that too. You're just being ultra charitable there.
I guess that's.
Do you really think he's gonna? Okay, let's just look at all the businesses that are public. All the public businesses. Do you think that their main goal is to make profit? He's gonna probably push back on that too, Young.
Yeah, I guess it could be. I guess when he, well, whatever.
That's
what I thought when he was
believe me, ask him. He's gonna stay quiet.
Concrete. Can I bring my
He's gone.
banker? Oh, he's gone. Okay.